Here we're looking at how a lunar eclipse comes about. I chose December 21st, 2010 because that's the next time that a total lunar eclipse is visible from the Americas, including Alaska. As we're looking at the moon and the Earth here from the sun, we're of course are looking at Australia and Asia because the Americas are on the other side, so they're able to see the lunar eclipse. The moon and the Earth are full. So here we're going forward at 5 minutes at a time, and there the moon is entering to the Earth's shadow. This is actually the penumbral shadow. Notice that we still see the moon. That means, since we're on the light source, the sun, that the moon is getting light from the sun. So as far as this is concerned, it's only the partial, the penumbral shadow on the moon. Now this one is the umbral shadow, where it doesn't get any sunlight, and so here it gets into the total lunar eclipse. And I actually take that back a little bit. We're not exactly at the sun. We're about 1.5 million kilometers above the sun's north pole, and that's why we do see a little bit of the moon. It actually should not be possible. But as far as explaining lunar eclipses, I don't think that matters. And then it comes out of the umbral shadow and gets in the penumbral shadow, and then the eclipse is over and we're back towards the full moon. The Earth sees the same picture of the moon, a full moon, and of course that we get an eclipse only happens every 6 months because usually the moon is orbiting too high or too low. And then of course we have to have luck being on the correct side, on the night side, in order to see that full moon entering into a lunar eclipse. Here we're looking at the Earth and the Sun from the moon, same lunar eclipse. And from our vantage point now, the Sun is being eclipsed by the Earth. And actually, as far as the Earth itself, I'm going to fix that in a moment, is concerned, we shouldn't see anything. So let me actually get here with the night side of the Earth back. Hold on. There, that's better. But a moment ago, if I had left the night side correctly as it is right now, we wouldn't have seen what continent we're looking at. I guess we still see South America down here. Notice that we can still distinguish a little bit. The software is actually correct for this kind of view because sunlight is reaching the moon, which is reflected back towards Earth. And even if the moon is totally eclipsed right here, there's still the refraction going on through the Earth's atmosphere that hits the moon. That's why we get a red moon. And that is being reflected back towards Earth. So technically we still see some. You also see the other interesting objects coming here. These are in the constellation Sagittarius. This is the Lagoon Nebula. This is the Trifid Nebula. And there are some star clusters, but that's just icing on the cake here. Kind of makes it look pretty. And the lunar eclipse is over. By the way, I clicked here every 5 minutes. And now we're of course looking at the moon from Earth. This is the penumbral shadow. It's actually not that dark, so the full moon here would actually remain a full moon. We would not recognize it as much for about an hour or so. And here's the umbral shadow, so now the full moon actually is totally eclipsed by the Earth. And by the way, this picture here is from longitude and latitude of the Kenai Peninsula in Alaska. So here we have the total lunar eclipse. There's a star cluster moving through here. Not gonna, well, I guess because we would actually see that. I'm gonna look up what its name is. Oh, NGC 2129. So that is actually itself, this is actually not an eclipse of the star cluster. It's called an occultation. You see that what's happening there is the same idea. You don't get any light from it, but it's not the shadow of the moon is not that long. There comes a bright star. Let's see who that is. Oh, one Gemini. That would be Pollux, I believe. No, that's not true. Pollux is Alpha Gemini. So, a star in Gemini. Anyway, so the lunar eclipse is over. And that's how the lunar eclipse is produced.